Who's in open enrollment? Anybody? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. Well, and ACA is open enrollment from October to December, like 15th or so, and also Medicare. I have nothing to say about Medicare, but just FYI. Okay, very official. Look how fancy we are. These are our opening disclosures. I just wanted to share that I am only representing myself. This is a lot of disclosures about stock predictions and everything else. I leave that to Sarah. There's no forecasting. There's no guarantees. Nothing that we talk about is universal. It's all very, none of the universal things are true universally, right? Everything is true to you specifically. So your own situation may not match the general, but there's not that many of us here. So bring it up and we'll talk about it, okay? If you want to. Who am I? I'm Kacie. I am one of the owners at Black Barn Financial with Sarah Glakis, as you guys all know. Like I said, I've been at AWIG since 2013. I am a certified financial planner and a certified investment management analyst, but I'm not necessarily here representing those things. I just like all the letters. I worked really hard for them, so I put them on everything. And that's it. Oh yeah, and then if you have follow-up questions, that's my email, and you can always find me later. Okay. I thought this was so cool, and then I was like, I don't know if young people are still saying, get this bread. It may not be a thing anymore. But I have turned a full corner. I am not hip at all. And this guy in the background is Mr. Bread from a cartoon on Netflix that the children watch, like my actual 5 and 7-year-old. So I'm not trying to be like hip with the lingo. I am leaning into the cringe. Okay, like we said, corporate benefits are part of your total compensation. We can't give you a raise because all of your benefits cost too much, right? What are we going to do, guys? We're going to bleed them dry. One more time. Bleed them dry. Yes. We have to take advantage of everything in that benefit package that we can so that we get the most from all of those hours that we have to spend at work. Okay, the very first one. The hardest, most confusing one, health plans. Okay, so for everybody who's in open enrollment, do you know the difference between the PPO and the HDHP? Sometimes people will say, oh, I have an HSA. That's totally understandable, but what they really mean is they have the high deductible health plan with the HSA component, right? The PPO is like the opposite. It's the standard insurance. Show of hands, who loves a high deductible health plan? Anybody? When you love a PPO plan, why do you love a PPO plan? You can go anywhere you want. You think it's cheaper. It can be cheaper on PPO because of regular doctor visits or maintenance medications. Okay, anything else? Do you guys want me to tell you how exciting it is that you're all so wrong? Just kidding. I'm not going to be mean about it. This is an example from somebody's benefits package that they sent to me. Here is the PPO plan. Here are the 2 different high deductible plans. Here's the high deductible. Guys, look at the annual deductible numbers. 1,000 and 3,000 on the PPO plan. 1,600 and 3,300 on the high deductible. The high deductible, the reason I'm in love with it so much is because when you have a high deductible health plan, you do have that option to save into the health savings account. And the H in health stands for forever. I can't come up with one, but like think of it as a heart. I love it. I heart it because a health savings account never expires. The F in a flex savings account stands for getting F'd because it will expire at the end of the year. H is for history, I guess. It's always there. I don't know a good word for this. The other thing about health plans, the annual deductible, this is what everybody always talks about. They're like, oh, your deductible. I don't care. I care about my out-of-pocket max, because out-of-pocket max is going to include all of the x-rays, all of the lab work. It's going to include the fee from the surgery center where Natalie had her tonsils out that didn't count towards the deductible because that part was a third-party vendor and it wasn't part of the original contract with the doctor, like blah, blah, blah. I hated it. But look at the price difference, 4,000 or 8,000. 8,000 is the family numbers, right? 4,300, 8,700. Again, that out-of-pocket max, I will spend at most 8,700 for my whole family if I stay in network. And then after I've spent 8,700, I'm done. So when in my mental accounting, I think to myself, I can put $8,330 into my HSA. And after I've spent 8,700 for that calendar year, everything I do is free. And it's almost the same in the PPO, but I don't get the HSA part. Right?
And the HSA.
Correct. That's why we heart it. H is for heart. We love it because it continues forever. It just, there's definitely limits on how much you can put into it, but they are not income based, which I do like as well. This was also on this particular benefits package PDF, so I stole it. The things that I like about when do you want the PPO? See how the PPO only has one. You want to pay the highest premium. That's the other thing about the PPO. On a monthly basis, it's more expensive. The high deductible health plan is kind of like when you get car insurance and you get a really high deductible so that you pay less on a monthly basis, assuming that you may not ever need it. Even if I do, like apparently the low thyroid medicine that I got prescribed when I was pregnant with the girls, and I totally thought I would get off of once I was not pregnant anymore. It turns out no, I will have to take it for the rest of my life. Luckily, it's like $2 because it's one of like the oldest medicines, but still, it's a maintenance medicine. I always have to pay it. It goes towards my out-of-pocket max because it's a prescription. It's not a deductible. But it's one of those things that I just have to think of, right? No, use it or lose it. Pay lower costs. Balance. This one's balanced, but both of these two are high deductible, so they kind of count together, to me, at least. Absolutely. Yes.
And just put, and then I moved to PPO, so I couldn't add to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was enough that I had to carry me 10 years. I was still using it. Or even my co-pays when I went to the doctor. So it was nice to have that, especially when I was unemployed, that I was like, now I can just use this to pay off some stuff like that.
That's right. Yeah, that's one I forgot about. So remember, with the high deductible health plan, you have to pay up front at the doctor, but you can put your money, you can put 4,300 as an individual person, 8,550 if you're carrying the family, plus another 1,000 if you're over 55, not 50, 55 for this one. I hate that they change it like that, but still. You can put all of this money in to your HSA and then use that on the copays and everything else. And remember that these are all tax deductible. That's why we love them so much. When you put it into your health savings account, it reduces your current year taxable income. So if I make $100,000 for this year and I put 4,300 into my HSA, then what I report to the government is, what is it, 95,600 instead of the full 100,000. So that money that I saved, that 4,300, even if I put it in an HSA with no interest rate, it's getting a 22% return because I'm not paying taxes on it. right? This is part of the rules about HSAs or high deductible health plans. The high deductible health plans have to set their deductible at least at this level for it to qualify. So if we go back to the page before, remember what they were charging? This 1,000, 3,000, 1,650 and 3,300, right? That's government mandated. So they're charging as little as possible so that we can have the HSA component. Okay. One of the things Laura brings up, this is my favorite part of an HSA. Okay. Right now, I'm working. I'm single. I'm making baller money. I'm so happy with my life. And I'm putting my 4,300 into my HSA with my high deductible health plan. And when I go get levothyroxine, the thyroid drug, and I go to the doctor and I get my teeth cleaned and whatever else, there in this make-believe world where I have so much money, I'm spending out of pocket on all of these maintenance things that I'm doing for myself. And my little 4,300 is sitting in my HSA and I'm not touching it. I'm leaving it in there. And I'm keeping my receipts from all of these teeth cleanings and eye appointments and everything else. I'm putting them in my Google folder called Reimburse Later. So 2 years later, I quit working to run my macrame business on Etsy. And I look back at my HSA that now has 10, 15,000 in it, whatever. I reimburse myself for all of those expenses I paid out of pocket. And now I have $15,000 that I can just spend to live on because I'm poor now, because I have a macrame business on Etsy. What do you think?
The 2 years?
Well, however many years. Yeah, let's see. Let's say 2. Yeah. Yeah, so I have 8,600 or, 12,900 or however many years. Yeah, I was saving it and I was paying out of pocket because I had the money to do so. I had a plan, I had a strategy, and it was based on yarn. And I knew that I wanted to pile up as much money as I could. And so I was paying for everything out of pocket and just keeping my receipts. And now I can reimburse myself because there's no time limit on that reimbursement.
You don't have to do that manually. You can look at it.
This is the expense limit on the deductibles and copays per year. That's on the high deductible health plan when I was participating. This is what like Blue Cross has to charge me at least $1,650 if I'm going to be in a high deductible health plan that's eligible for the HSA component. Nope. Sorry. Nope, not it. So this part is the rules for like Blue Cross or Aetna. So when we go back up a couple pages to this list of what they were charging everybody, the reason they set this deductible minimum at $1,650 and $3,300 is so that they would qualify their insurance plan for the HSA component. They could set this at like 5,000, 10,000, 30,000. They could set it as high as they want. They're setting it low because they want all of us to do this, because when we do it, we're taking on a lot of the expenses ourselves. Well, I sure am, but yes. Yeah, stuff like that. But that 1,650 number, that's the corporate side. The other 2 columns are what applies to us. This is our contribution limit per year, and it is not income based. So for me in this story where I'm making so much money, I'm like making 600,000 a year, or whatever make-believe number I made up, I can do this no matter what. That's not true of some of the other personal savings like Roth IRAs and whatnot.
Do a lot of HSAs, once you then they offer some kind of interest on top of what, because that's to help it grow. Even with that. Is that true of most of them?
Yes. So some of the HSA providers out there are like the health savings account places that you get your debit card from. Is Optum. Through my own personal experience, we've had Optum, we've had Wells Fargo, we had Flex Savings, HSA Bank does them, Schwab does them. Does anybody else have any other ones that I can't think of? Payflex, that's what I was thinking of, sorry. Payflex. Yes, ma'am. Which one? The money one? Oh, I'm so sorry. I did skip over that part. Thank you. This one, maximum tax deductible contribution. So I can put 4,300 into my plan as a single person. If I have the kids and my husband on my plan, I can do 8,550. This is a bit of a wrinkle as well. So let's say Dave and I are both working at two different places, and it's one of those situations where they won't let me on his insurance because I have access to insurance. We can both do 4,300. I cannot do 8,550 for the whole group. Don't know why, but it's what it is. The numbers, and I mean, you get an extra 50 bucks, so like whatever. So anyway, this one is how much I can spend per year. So expense limits on insurance deductibles and insurance copays. I can spend up to 8,300 on deductibles and copays from my saved money. Ignore this column, pretend I've been saving for years. I have $50,000 sitting in my HSA. For deductibles and copays, I can spend this amount as a single person, or I can spend this as a family person. Yes. Yeah. Because one of the things that happens is, you know, you go along for years not needing anything, and then you have a kid or something, and it costs $30 billion, and that's the year that you need to spend. Or a dental implant, almost as expensive as my children. Mm-hmm. Yeah, ACA. Yeah, yes, it is. Obamacare does offer high deductible health plans, so you can get one through the ACA. Yes, that's a good.
Also, I think it gets confusing because if you're not on the,
That is true.
like if I switch my bank there because I still had a balance, but I just couldn't contribute to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could take money out, but I could put more money in. It's still nice that, like I said, it lasted for 10 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then I know the $3 are still in there to figure out how to get them out. But
Buy 1 month of levothyroxine. Yes. Did you have one?
I think about it.
What is your health care?
It's the end of
And it's through your husband's job? And and he's carrying you and the baby?
Yeah.
Then yes, you qualify for the 8,300. The whole family, the family plan. Mm-mm. Nope. Great question. Very good point. Laura has brought up another great point, which is that let's say I'm working at this corporate job. I'm making killer money. I'm contributing to my HDHP plan. But then I quit that job to go work at a startup, and all they offer is a PPO plan. Well, of course, I'm going to take the PPO plan because I want the health insurance. So now I have this old HSA sitting out there. I can't contribute to it when I'm not engaged in a high deductible health plan. So if I'm working somewhere and I'm using the PPO style plan, the HSA doesn't go away. Remember, we heart it, it never expires, but I can't put money into it until I switch jobs again, or I convince this employer to add a high deductible option.
So then you have to start a whole new account.
Only, it really depends on the employer. So like the reason I've had Wells Fargo and Optum and all these other places is because my husband did change jobs a whole bunch before we settled down. And yes, if he was working for a big corporation, we just went with whoever they had. These days, I don't have to do that anymore because I'm the only one doing the money. And so I can just pick. And I say, we're putting everything into the Fidelity account and we're just done with this. But previously, we would put it into whoever the corporate sponsored plan was, because a lot of times your employer will make a contribution on your behalf.
And you can roll, if you had like, in that scenario, and then down the line you switch to another provider, you can roll over money from.
Yes. And you're going to want to do that because a lot of times if you do leave it somewhere, like if I left it at Optum and I don't work there anymore, they charge a monthly maintenance fee. And it is only $2 or $3, but it eats away at your money because these are not huge numbers to start with, right? So if I leave it there for 2 years, that's going to be a lot of money. So I do want to transfer it to whoever my new guy is so that I can keep it like fresh. Okay. It turns into an IRA after age 55. And also these have beneficiaries, just like an IRA. So after age 55, you can start spending it like IRA dollars. Remember that it was tax deductible in the first place. It will be taxed as ordinary income when it comes out if it is not used for qualified medical expenses. But that's the little asterisk. If I'm over 55, I probably have more qualified medical expenses anyway now. And so I'm spending my HSA on that component of my life, and I'm spending it tax-free. Make them bleed. What's up? Those won't apply anymore. Only towards deductible and copay. But for going to CVS and buying Band-Aids and levothyroxine, I could spend as much as I want.
I thought HSA apply like the account.
That is flex savings accounts.
Right.
And then they put out new guidance on the HSA website, the government website, and you can do it over the counter again. Yeah. And sometimes if you've ever gotten a receipt at like HEB or something, and it'll say at the bottom, these things qualified for HSA. So put that in your receipt file too. Okay. Limits. I wrote my own notes that the F is for F. Okay, some of the highlights: paycheck deferral, paycheck deferral option. So when you're putting that $43.30 away, or the $83.30 or whatever it is, you can defer it from your paychecks, but you don't have to. So this is another thing that I love about it. For those folks that maybe get like a decent bonus once or twice a year, you can be putting like $50 into your HSA. And then when you have the money, or like maybe your grandma always gives you $1,000 for your birthday or whatever, thank you, grandma, that's an amazing grandma. You could throw that into your HSA. You can fund it from outside the paycheck if you want to. You also have until April 15th of the following year to fill it up for the calendar year before. So again, let's say I work at this company where I'm making the killer money, and in January is when they always give me my big bonus for the year before, and I had only put $4,000 so far into my HSA for 2025. Well, I write a check from myself for $330, and I just put it in in January for the previous year, just to top it off, just to finish it off. Those are things you can do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Correct. Because I want to get that maximum tax deduction. That's why I want to get it done. And because they're fairly low limits of contribution anyway. 4,330 can get eaten up real quick by medical expenses. So if I want to make sure that I'm putting the full 4,330 in each year, then I would like label that extra $330. That was last year's. I want to be able to do the full 4,330 this year. Okay. The only downside to the health savings account is that when you have a health savings account, you cannot have a regular flex savings account in addition. So if for whatever reason your family has a lot of medical expenses and you want to take advantage of both, you can't do that. But there is a thing called the limited purpose flex savings account for dental and vision. So again, Dave's having all of this dental work done. He's getting all these implants. I could do this plan plus this plan. That doesn't come up very often, but I wanted you to know about it. Thoughts, questions? It's called limited purpose. And the contribution limits are usually the same. Usually, but maybe not small business. Like we don't. Yeah, right? We don't currently. I bet we could talk to the HR director. Spoiler alert, guys, it's us. This is a very small company. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Thank God. Yes, it's December 31. Does anybody ever still watch regular terrestrial TV? Regular TV? Watch football or anything? Okay, my point is, in the next couple of weeks, you're going to start seeing all of these commercials that say, hey, get in here, go to the doctor, go to the dentist, go to the eye doctor. If that flex savings account is burning a hole in your pocket, spend it before the end of the year. It's going to be real hard to get in with your eye doctor in the month of December because everybody's trying to spend that plan. Yes, it does. Mm-hmm. So if you have dental work or you have eye stuff going on, that limited purpose FSA is not a bad thing. You just have to like be prepared to spend it. Or don't fund it the full $4,000 because you know you're not going to spend the whole thing. Like maybe you're like, well, my glasses are $500 and my contacts, blah, blah, blah. Like only fund it up to however much you think you might spend. Would you get reimbursed from your corporate job?
Yeah.
So did they reimburse you for medical stuff? It's either or. So you can't double dip. But generally with a flex savings account, they're going to give you a debit card. And if I go to HEB and I buy a bunch of Pepto-Bismol, I can't submit it for reimbursement and also pay for it with my FSA. I believe so. Somebody pull up the list of qualified medical. I think so. Yeah. Oh, how close to the baby do I have to be? She's 5. Do I still get to use this? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2020. Since 2020, bleed all you want, people. The government will help us out. God, what a surprise. Really, don't tell the people in charge, they'll take it away. Yes.
I used to do that because you get a debit card. Use it, you have to be careful not to use it on non-medical. But I was like, I could argue that like ice cream and
It's part of my therapy.
Yeah.
That's not a bad point.
Yeah, I know. You get another.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I did tape a big label to the front of it so that I wouldn't do that. Exactly. Because it was from Wells Fargo. It looked just like my other card. Oh, great question. No, this open enrollment is for next year. Yes. Nothing that you sign up for at open enrollment right now will count in 25. It will all kick in January 1. Great question. Yes. That is the nice thing about the FSA. Exactly. If you know you need the dental work and you can wait until January, then sign it like in open enrollment, sign up for that FSA, put as much as you need for the dental work in it, make the appointment for January 15th. And even though you haven't funded it yet, it will still be completely tax deductible. Yeah. And ask them to reimburse you. Yeah, that's a good way to do it. Yeah. And I could do it digitally too. I could like upload the receipt and then they would send me the reimbursement. I know. Guys, one time, this is really stupid, but I dropped like a bottle of shaving cream, like that was shaped like toothpaste, into my eye and tore the cornea. And I had to have a whole bunch of eye surgery. So that FSA paid for itself that year. But also, don't do that. It hurts so bad. And now I can't stop like spreading the word about how incredibly pointy the edges of like toothpaste and everything is. And to the degree that like I carry like hand lotion, I cut the edges off because I'm all paranoid now from my, it was real bad.
Yeah.
Guys, it's so dorky. But look how pointy they are. I cut them and they're still pointy. They're still pointy. This is also like the best. It smells amazing. Yeah, but guys, be careful. This has been your message for the day. Okay. You can, but you don't have to. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Correct. So if you do it through paycheck, when you get your W-2, if you earned 100,000, but you've done all of this deferral, your paycheck's not going to say you earned 100,000. It's going to be lower. But if you don't do it that way, if you do it through like you wrote a check to yourself, my W-2 is going to say I earned 100,000, and then I get 5498 for all of the contributions I made, and I report those to on the front of my taxes to reduce my taxable income line by line. Yep, the FSA you just have to guess from minute one. It F's you. Yes. Isn't that stupid? Yeah. Exactly. It's not flexible. F is for getting F'd. Yes. Guys, I couldn't resist putting this picture in there because it was the cover of the benefits package and it's like a nightmare. They all have the same picture. It's like that meme of woman eating salad and laughing. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I had to be, and I,
The out-of-pocket max.
then I was like, why the benefit?
Free for the rest of the year. Yes. When was baby born? Exactly. You had the boogie. I made good choices. Yeah. Allison was born in May. I spent the rest of the year getting this hearing aid, getting all of the stuff we needed, everything. It was amazing. Natalie was born in February. I did it again. It's like, what? I probably did that on purpose, but no, I did not. It was just lucky. But yes, once you've met the out-of-pocket max, everything's free. So yes, it really stinks to spend $8,000 on medical stuff, but once you do, then do everything else in that calendar year. For you, your spouse, your kids. Natalie had her tonsils out the same year that Dave had his dental work done. Everything. Okay, get those people off my screen. She did. And adenoids and ear tubes. That poor little baby. She doesn't snore anymore though. Okay, and she grew so fast. I felt terrible. After we put all that stuff, like we had all that stuff done, she was like hungry all the time. She slept better. She grew like 4 inches. It was depressing. Like, oh my God, what did we do to you? Anyway, the other big stuff. Financial protection. In your PDF booklets about your finances and your open enrollment, look for the life insurance. Always get the free stuff, no matter what. They might offer critical illness insurance. They might offer hospital indemnity insurance. Maybe. I mean, my lifestyle probably doesn't need that. I don't really like climb rocks or anything. But spousal and child life insurance is almost always a waste of time because the benefits are really low. But it's one of those things that's in there. The accidental death and dismemberment insurance is usually like $5. Why not? Unless your budget doesn't allow for it, I would do it just because it's cheap. If they offer you a buy-up on life insurance, so the general one is 2 times your salary. But remember, if you're in a commission-based business and your salary, I'm talking to a bunch of people that work for the state, so this may not occur, but if you work somewhere and your base salary is like 80 grand and then you make 500,000 in sales commissions, that death insurance is not going to be on the whole amount. It's going to be on whatever the base was. So just be prepared. Okay. Thoughts or questions about life insurance? It's pretty cut and dry. There's really not a lot to it. The only thing that I would suggest is when you're in the open enrollment period and HR is like holding meetings and all of that stuff, if you sign up for these things, ask for a copy of the insurance policy and keep it in your Google Drive somewhere so that you have it. Because after you sign up for it, like you don't even know what company it's with. Yeah.
Could technically transfer that policy and continue to hold it at that rate of premium. But you have to, that's why you need a copy of the life insurance policy declaration, coverage and everything. So you can transfer because you're trying to replace it later on, even if it's all those going to be good for so many years. So when you get 20 years older, you're going to be rated at issues. So if you decide you want to transfer that policy to the age you're at down the road, you need to check into call, find out who, if it's Lincoln Benefit Line, or you never know who it's going to be, but that's why it's important to know those things. Could technically transfer it to the age you're at.
The other thing about all of those life insurances is, like she said, remember that they don't travel with you. So if you change places that you work a lot, It's always great to have it for free through work, but you might consider getting your own policy just so that you have some coverage. And think about it, a group policy, like this is why fish swim in swarms, right? That's not what it's called. Schools. So that the shark can't eat all of them, right? So this is how, because life insurance in a group policy is cheaper for us as individuals because the overlords are getting their money from all of us. When I get life insurance on me alone, I'm only guaranteeing my own life, and the insurance company looks at me and they're like, maybe not. And so it's more expensive. When you are looking for your own policy in your own real life, look into all of the other groups you might be a part of. So UT alumni, there is a group plan. The Financial Planning Association, there is a group plan. The Bar Association, the Therapy Association, the Realtors, any career where you might be like working by yourself, there's almost always a union or an association that you might be able to get a group plan with. Nice. Wichita State University has a group plan. Turned my sister onto that one. Okay. Disability insurance. Disability insurance. Heart hands. Disability insurance. You guys have it. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? You know what it covers? It covers you if you're disabled. It's the opposite of life insurance because it covers you if you survive, but now you're a burden on your family. You're very expensive, but you have this policy. It covers you 60% of your weekly salary. Remember, this is probably going to be their base. For that high commissioned person, they might want to do this on their own. But short-term disability is for 25 weeks. Long-term disability, this is the one that gets the hard hands, lasts until you are full retirement age. Everybody in here, according to the US government, full retirement age is 67 now. So if Akshara, precious young Akshara, gets disabled and she had this policy, she is covered for 40 years. I love it so much. The maximum benefit payable is $10,000 at this particular company. Now, these are going to be different at every company, but it's going to be something like this. They're going to max out how much you can get, but there is an inflation adjustment almost always. And you can pay extra if you want like bells and whistles, but usually you don't need it. You just need something like this. Long-term disability is imperative. For everybody who's in open enrollment, it's probably $40 a paycheck at worst. Please, please, please sign up. I had a client who did not sign up for it because it was $40 a paycheck, and he was the sole provider for his family of 4, and it terrified me. It's like, please, can we go back and fix it? Luckily, they had a kid, and that was a life event, so we could go into his plan and fix it. But his husband and I both were just like, what is wrong with you? $46. You make $300,000 a year. Come on, man. You just put your whole family at risk for $40. Mm-hmm. I know. Yes, they will ask you, what do you weigh? And I'm like, I don't know. Are you going to come ask? Like, who's weighing me in this story? They might. Yeah. 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 Sign up when you're young and healthy. Okay, here's the big one. It's 3:30. We're probably going to spend the rest of the hour on the funnest one of all, the investment one. Retirement savings has lots of different names at different employers. These are all of the ones that are voluntary contribution. This will not include ERS because the pension, the ERS, that they take 8% of your paycheck, you can't say no. So it doesn't really count. But if they offer a 457 or a 403B, you have to voluntarily sign up for that. Is anybody doing it? All of my state workers, city workers, you guys are doing it? Yes. 457 is the best one because you don't have to be 59 and a half to access it. All of the other ones, they will make you pay a penalty if you take the money out before age 59.5. 59 and 6 months. Most of these types of plans, they now offer both pre-tax and post-tax. They're going to call that traditional, and they're going to call it Roth. Has anybody seen a Roth 403B or a Roth Simple Plan? We got an email from Schwab the other day. They offer Roth Simple Plans now. Yes, it is very new. And most of the plans have a catch-up provision after age 50. There is some confusion at the moment with the new Big Beautiful Bill Act, if that catch-up provision is after tax or not. I'm not 100% sure yet if you can still deduct that. We're working it out. The government will hopefully tell us at some point. They kind of have some big fish to fry, so who knows? Okay. This is all of the different plans. So this is a whole bunch of different numbers. The most important one is the 70,000. Okay. This is the defined contribution top number. If you are over 50, you get to add 7,500 to that. So for you, it's 77,500. Oh, nope, I read the wrong one. Right here. For people over 60, it's 11,250. See this? This is also new. One Big Beautiful Bill Act stuff. But my point is, when we are making our contributions to our 401ks, they're capping us at 23,500, right? That's because that is the employee contribution. That's your elective deferral from your paycheck. That's just the part that the employee gets to do. But then if I get a match from my employer, that is counting me towards the $70,000 limit number. If I work somewhere cool and they offer an after-tax contribution, then I can do my pre-tax, 23,500. I can get my match. Let's say they give me another 6,500, so I'm at 30. And then maybe I have that $40,000 to play with. Again, remember my make-believe story, I'm so very rich. I make so much money. I'll put 40,000 in after tax. And now I'm at the $70,000 limit. And that 40,000 after tax, it's like a Roth contribution. So it immediately converts to Roth. And now I have like supercharged my Roth account. The mega backdoor. It's after tax. That part over the 23.5, that's after tax. So that's going to be a taxable contribution. So that means like I don't get to discount it on my W-2. But my first 23.5 I will. Because remember, I'm very wealthy in this make-believe story. Thoughts or questions? Is anybody doing the full 23.5? The state and city workers are like, shut up, man. No. Yeah. Leor does not work for the city. It has always been one of my goals to consistently max out my 401k. And honestly, I have not historically hit that goal every single year. There's always been some reason that I can't do it. But when you can, if you do it pre-tax, then you're piling up a lot of money for your retirement that you will eventually have to pay taxes on. And if you do it post-tax as a Roth contribution, you're putting the money in. You're not getting a current year tax deduction, but it will be tax-free at the end. And so you kind of have to gamble. What is my tax situation going to be like when I'm 60? Yes. No. No. There is a small asterisk to that. So if I'm putting my money in Roth style, like after tax, I'm not expecting a current year tax deduction. And I put my money in, and let's say I put the full 23,000 in that way. And then 2 years from now, I'm 48 years old and I need the money. I can take that 23,000 out without a taxation because that part didn't get any tax benefit. The growth, if I had it in an S&P 500 or something and it was growing, the growth part, I would have to pay a penalty if I take it out. But after 59 and a half, no penalty, totally tax-free. Okay. Simples and SEPs, and those are the old style ones, right? Nobody really has a SARSEP anymore. Okay, anyway, if you work for a small business, there's other plans that have smaller contribution limits. Does anybody have questions about the corporate benefits part, the contributions? Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yes. That's exactly right. Huge control. That, and also, so these are this year's tax brackets for a single person. Again, updated as of the big beautiful bill. So the first $11,925 I earn is going to be taxed at 10%. The 11,000 to 48,000 I earn is taxed at 12%. Then it's a big jump, 12 to 22. It does it again, 24 to 32. And that's over 197,000, which is a lot of money, but like people earn that. That's not crazy, crazy. So everything you earn over that 197 is taxed at 32. And the worst case scenario, it's 37% as a marginal tax bracket on the earnings you have over 626,000. So if you look at just this part as an objective percentage out of 100, this is low. If we assume that taxes will eventually change, how likely is it they're going to go lower? Not too likely. Much more likely they'll go up. So this is another reason that if you want to gamble, the safer gamble is pay taxes now in the Roth version and don't pay taxes in the future. They always do. They go up a little bit every year. They do a little cost of living adjustment. Yeah. They usually send it in the end of December. Exactly. So then you're covering all of your tax bases, but you're not like overcommitting to one particular one. Here's the married one. So that's pretty much double these, but not quite. So again, they're moving from 24 to 32 over the 394,000. Back down here, you're in the 22% bracket when your family earns over 96,000. If you have two people earning, you're going to get there pretty quick if you're going to live in Austin. So remember that the tax, like if in like I said at my house, one of us is over 50. So if he could put 30,000 in pre-tax and I put 23,000 in post-tax, then we can kind of split the difference on these two, right? So play with your strategies and look at your benefits package. You are looking for the phrase after tax contribution with in-plan Roth conversion. This is the important plan part. This is the part that allows you to do that, like up to 70,000. This is the most beautiful marker, Sarah. I love this color. Okay. That's the part like after your first employee chunk, if you are allowed to do it. This is something that's pretty common at all of like the big techie companies, but it's spreading more and more. So I don't know if the city will allow it, but it's worth looking into. And if you know people in HR, just ask for it too. Like the more people that ask, all they have to do is just tell their Empower and tell them to turn it on. Thoughts and questions about the contribution limits? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's 3% of your total salary. Yeah, up to the limits. Mm-hmm. 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 The other things that I want you to look for in your benefits packages is stuff like Life Mart. Does anybody have Life Mart? It's this incredibly weird, I don't know, clearinghouse, I guess, of discounts. It's kind of like when you go in the back of your Chase card and you like go to the Chase websites and you find all of the stuff that they offer. It's crazy. Yes, it's Perk Spot. Perk Spot. What else is it called? Anybody else have one? So when you were talking about getting your gym membership through the health insurance company, that's the kind of stuff I'm thinking of too. Like a lot of, like I got 10% off of the daycare that the girls went to because I found it in our like deals website. They usually have gyms, they usually have restaurants, they usually have all sorts of weird subscription services like the Wine of the Month Club. Who cares? But there's a bunch of other stuff too. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think you were talking about some medical plan
Their own expenses, yes. Mm-hmm. They're paying for my GLPs. Just well, kidding. Doubt it.
They help like and it gave him a very simple pedometer, but he got the mindset super like I guess competitive.
Nice.
Like,
the gamified pedometer really worked.
He walks like all the time now, so it's always like I talk like I'm not walking, and but I mean it with his type of personality. I'm really glad that he focused on something like this, and he lost like 60, 70 pounds. He's totally managing like his blood pressure and other stuff, and it's like because at first when he got like I got something in the mail. I don't know what it's for. I'm like, look into it. It's only gonna if you don't like it, you don't like it. It doesn't cost you anything extra.
Yeah.
So they offer. I've seen stuff like that for therapy. Yeah,
like the Hinge.
Do help you beat it, and it's fine to go when you go for your annual physical, and then you get the Vita. They want you to do something from there. Prick yourself and send some blood. Yeah, like a heart monitor or something in your blood pressure. You send that in, then they give. Well, first of all, that would be free. Secondly, then the state would give you an extra day off for health. And then we have a challenge every year in January.
What do they do with your info though?
That's why I didn't do it.
That's so scary. Yeah.
I don't have any health issues, but that was my same question. So they sent me the package. It's still bundled up. I never because who's gonna get that? What are they gonna do with it?
I know. So, like we all watched 23andMe explode. So. Yeah. Yikes. Cool. Right. Yeah, it is cool. Yeah. That is true. I do carry around a tracker at all times. Yeah, you're right. We all have to, live in the world. And so we take it, we do it. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Thanks so much. That is awesome. I am trying to find the part that I forgot to put in here about dependent care flex savings accounts. Have you guys heard of this one? I love it. Okay, here's my benefits example. Come on, man, open. Yes, flex savings accounts. Okay, so this is the spoiler alert. This is the document that I used when I was building all of this. Yes, exactly. You're going to see those people here in a minute. Oh, I skipped them. Okay, where is it? Dependent care. Okay, I'm sorry, what was your name again? What? Hi, Kacie. Okay, is your baby going to daycare? The reason I love dependent care flex savings account is because daycare is like the only thing that you know for sure what it's going to cost. Okay. Like with all of our medical savings and our HSAs and all of those, we're guessing. We don't know when we're going to get sick, but I know to the penny what my daycare costs are going to be. So if you can put aside $5,000, $2,500 if you're filing separately into a tax deferred slash tax free savings account to pay for your kids' daycare, do it. And like the girls are in public school now, they're 5 and 7, but school was closed last Friday, Monday, this coming Monday, November 4th. It is closed so much. Every time it's closed, they go to the YMCA for the day. That's $60 per child per day. So this is still super handy because it covers all sorts of things. And it's not just kids. If you have an older person in your life that goes to adult daycare or you get somebody to come into the home to sit with them, it's all dependents. And there's a great website for dependent care that will talk you through like what's qualified as a medical expense. Anything basically where you're dependent, someone else is watching your dependent so you can work. That's the short version. Here's that limited purpose FSA. What else? Leora's face says she has a question. Yes. Right. Well, more money to the bank provider. Like the health FSA and the limited purpose FSA. Yeah. If the company is Wells Fargo, they're like, oh yeah, you should totally put 3,300 in here. You're definitely going to need it all. And then it's November and you haven't spent it, and you're like booking every single tooth cleaning and eye doctor appointment you can. You don't want to throw the money away. So this document, this PDF is our holy grail. For those of you who are in open enrollment, like print it out and dig through it for every little thing you can get from the man. Nope, the company will provide it because they're all going to be different, except that it's all going to have the faces. Mm-hmm. Laura has had to build them, haven't you? Did you get to pick the pictures?
No, well, careful.
Mm-hmm. It is. Like, I hope that this particular gentleman is making a lot of money, because I think he's also in all of the like inserts in our newspaper for the Kohl's cash. That is so fantastic. Yeah, good call. Ah, yeah, I know. I have clients who are engineers and they have massive spreadsheets showing them that the high deductible health plan is better, and they still don't do it because they just like the PPO. Whatever. Yeah, I know. I know. I hear you. So these are my suggestions, but everybody's finances are their own. This is dental and vision. Does anybody have any strong opinions about taking the dental and vision insurance? What do you think about the part where the calendar year max on teeth is $1,500? Right? This is the only reason that I don't love that one. So it really depends on what the annual, like how much the premium is. This one's $7. So 7 times 12. Yeah, I'm going to make money. So I'll do it. But I don't like it. Vision's kind of the same. And VSP Vision is the biggest joke. Has anybody ever gone to the eye doctor and they get out those little suitcases with the free glasses for the VSP Vision people? And they're all ugly as heck? Yes. They kind of look like it. They are made, they're pre-made, but they all look like they're just like Walmart glasses. They're all ugly as heck. Oh yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Zennies? Is anybody else up to Zennies? Zenni? Yes. These glasses were $20. They're not bifocals, but they do have the anti-glare and anti-everything else. You can keep loading it on there, but the most I've ever spent was for sunglasses with all the tinties and everything else, and it was $120. Like the ones that like clap on. Yeah. Yeah. Dental and vision, it's a crapshoot. So. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Did you find a decent dentist? Okay, cool. And they're in the network. Dang it. Yeah, that's kind of how I felt too. I'm like, I'm not giving this guy up.
Grow it and knowing that they rarely ever pay me the overage, but I'm like, are you just trying to see how much will milk out of the
Yes, that's what they're doing, I think. Yeah, I think they're just trying to scare us. Yeah, thank goodness. What else is good in this particular plan? See, there's their fitness program. Fitness can be easy and fun. We'll take all your data, but that's okay. Studio class network and mobile app. Right? Oh, absolutely. I think it's because yoga studios are not generally nationwide franchises. Like it's really easy for them to make an agreement with Golds, right? But it's not as easy for them to make it with yoga, which also has failed. It's now flow yoga.
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes if you they offer
Mm-hmm. Yep. God, no kidding. They should incentivize us with the thing that actually works, money. Here's another couple of examples. There's that Hinge Health again. That's the joint pain PT physical therapy thing. Wonder is their digital weight loss. Livongo, diabetes and hypertension programs. But like, there's usually some sort of discount on getting your estate documents done, like getting a visit with a doctor. I mean, not a doctor, an estate planning attorney. There's usually, what else am I missing? So Glad you got that done. You have to have your estate planning done when you're single. You absolutely. Yeah. Right? Kara Yurikawa? Oh, Carlotta Kilcullen Garza. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She's so lovely. That's Sarah's podcast, if you guys are not listening to it yet. Season 3. Yeah. That baby needs guardians. Nice. Yeah. These are a couple more things about those insurance policies, the critical illness insurance. I have never heard anybody that's actually like used this and benefited. It's kind of like the extended warranty. I don't know. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You can take your Aflac. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did she find it easy to submit the claims and get paid? That's the part that I worry about. It's not like a John Grisham novel where they don't want to pay me. Okay. Trust you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm, I'm jumping around again, back to this 401k thing. I did want to point one thing out, that something that might be a little bit confusing. When you are signing up for the 401k or you're increasing your contribution or changing any of it, I wanted to revisit the different language that they use. So tax deferred 401k, that's the one that's going to reduce your current year taxes, right? That is in opposition to the Roth 401k, where the money is not tax deductible. But those two things are completely different from the after tax contribution with in plan conversion. That is the third component. Don't get that confused with the initial Roth contribution. Just wanted to point that out again. These are the end of my prepared remarks. Who else wants to talk? Mm-hmm.
And I remember always trying to YouTube and all this. Okay, so they have all this information now. Still, I was like, how does this work? And the representative from the 401k company came to the branch office, and I wanted to set up a time with her to talk about my plan, my 401k, and what I could do about it. And she couldn't do it. They didn't want, number one, she didn't really want to. Number two, I kind of got the gist of the presentation, but I still wanted to drill down and find out, like, how can I really benefit and learn and know more about this? Improvement in my income was like a big deal to me back when I was living on a shoestring budget. You know, small family, but it was still a lot and very hard. Mm-hmm. And people like yourself were not like available, and that's why when I found this group, I was like, oh my God, this is a really good thing, because I tried to tell my daughter, just gotta start when you're young. Mm-hmm. This age right here is when you start getting your knowledge buckets in place. Things do change.
Yeah, and that's a good point too. You know, that 23,500 for people under 50, that's aspirational. If you can do $50 a paycheck, like literally anything you can do, it will pile up. Just this morning, Sarah and I were talking to another group about compounding and how like the power of compounding works especially well when you have a lot of years ahead of you. And so if you've got more than 10 years and you can afford to do $50 a paycheck, it's going to do a lot. It's not going to do as much as 23,000, of course, but who cares? Do what you can. Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
25. One guy, young. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a couple that they know they can. I've seen. I go help the front desk. I've seen their tickets. You know, my daughter's schedule today shows her making gross sales just in services, not product, over $800 on her book today. Mm-hmm. For what's going to be charged for services. So they know how to make the money, but they don't. These hair salons don't get benefits. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, how can I plug in somebody to? Because I know the owner. We're in good now. We're inside, and the two men. They want to teach their girls, their staff, money management stuff, growth, and all this. And so I want to find out how I can get plugged in with you.
Are the workers there? Do you know if they are all independent contractors or are they W-2? Dang.
So why is it so hard to get benefits into their whole?
Two things. Number one, there is just like a social stigma that 401ks are hard to manage and expensive. They don't have to be that bad, but that's kind of like the given knowledge, right? The second thing is that a 401k for a company where you have a lot of turnover, it can get expensive because you're always processing people in and out. And so the third party administrators, the people that keep a 401k plan legal, those folks, they may charge a higher fee for a service industry where people don't stay a long time. But if people are 1099 employees, they can set their own version of a 401k up. and it's called a solo 401k or an individual 401k. And you can do that on the Vanguard, Schwab, Fidelity website, all of the different websites. And you're acting as your own boss and your own employee. So you can, no. Mm-mm. Yeah, self-directed IRA is, in my experience, the way I would phrase it is like, it's the kind of IRA that you can use to hold a real asset, as long as you stay within all of the legal rules of the IRA. And the reason that they're kind of complicated and maybe not my favorite is that it's very easy to break the rules, and then everything in that IRA gets disqualified. Yeah, you can just put the money back. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you over contributed. Yeah. Yeah. That's the only good thing about the IRS like tax system is that when you make mistakes that are clearly just I screwed up mistakes, like we don't go to jail. Thank goodness. It's one of the few things. I know. Or I'm sorry I put too many zeros on my discount. Like it's just like simple mistakes. They'll make us pay the difference, and there may be penalties and interest, but at least we can just resolve it without having to like get truly penalized.
That's
Yes.
when you change jobs mid-year,
Mm-hmm.
like your new employer doesn't know what you've
Mm-mm.
contributed to your 401k. It's really on you.
Yeah, because if you double down,
When I would, if you've already contributed, this is the total for year, no matter where you work.
yeah,
So and I worked somewhere where the payroll person would actually ask you to list it down, but too much work. But just to like remind people, like, hey, be careful if you've already.
yeah, because a lot of times we will encourage folks to try and push your contribution so that you fill the bucket early in the year. But if you did that and then you change jobs in August or October, and your HR person is like, okay, set it up to put $700 a month in or whatever it might be, well, you're going to over contribute, and you just have to fix it.
Same with your HSA.
Yeah, with an HSA, because it is in some parts an individual account, there is a return of excess contribution form. You can just fill that out. You can do that with an IRA and a Roth IRA. But with a 401k, I don't know how you have to get your corporation involved to get it fixed.
Usually you have to get the money back.
Mm-hmm.
If it's like a traditional.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Oh yeah, we didn't get into that. Yes, thank you. Mm-hmm. Correct. It's not. Yeah. I personally have a rule of thumb that when I have enough money to put into my health savings account and my out-of-pocket max is $3,300 for the family, I personally like to keep $3,300 in the cash portion, and then whatever's above that, I'll put it into the investments, because I just don't want the investments to be down at a moment where I actually need to pay for tonsil surgery or something. So that's just me. Like everybody can do their own thing, but to be honest, right now we don't ever get to that point because we're spending it, which always feels good because we are bleeding them dry. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point, because the HSA is a little bit more flexible. Like you could spend it now if you need to, but you also can save it for the future. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess the difference there is that like if you are like using some of the HSA money to invest, you don't have as many years to compound, right? Because when does that investment portion, like after 55, that's when it converts to more?
It can. You can leave it in there, but it will have a required minimum distribution at 73, just like everything else does. So it could have just as long of a time frame, but you have the option to withdraw it before age 59. Whereas with the 401k, in general, if you take it before 59, you're going to pay a tax and a penalty. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're essentially getting like an extra 22% if you're in the 22% bracket. Yeah. And it's one of those, like, it's a little complicated, but it's a strategy that I love when people are pushing themselves towards a world where they're going to be independent of the corporate job at a young age. I'm like, okay, we know that we've only got 2 or 3 more years working at Amazon or Accenture or Nvidia or whatever, where you're getting paid great money, but you hate it. Like, let's pile the dollars in so that in 2 or 3 years you have this cushion to pay for your life where you're selling macrame on Etsy or whatever you're doing. I use that one because somebody brought it up today. Yes. What did you say?
There was one like this.
To the health savings account. The disadvantage. The disadvantage is that the FSA, the flex savings account, is the one where if you've committed to putting $2,000 into it, you can spend all $2,000 on January 2nd, even if you haven't put it in yet. You can't do that with the health savings account. With the health, yeah, kind of.
You can't even leave your job or and never pay that amount back into the account. And I think that's why it balances out. So if you end up over investing and not using it, that money goes back into the plan.
Oh, that's how they make their money? Yeah, that's a good call.
And I'll do 2,000 and they get their 2,000 right away and they quit. They're not putting that account and they're not saying like, hey, you owe us $2,000.
But you can spend the FSA and then leave and not put the money.
I think so. Like I've never seen one actually go back to the person and say, you get it back.
So you just got money.
So but like a debit card is, and then if you back it, use it. Yeah, if you want to like.
Yeah.
You use it
you broke your tooth on January 2nd. Yeah.
Now the dependent care and spend a minute.
Dependent care.
You have to have the money in the account. You don't get free.
Yeah.
For that.
Pretty much. Yeah, each pay period you're slowly paying it back. The health savings account. It's only paycheck deferral. Yeah, it's really great. Yeah. Yeah, because it is hard to guess. There is usually a grace period into the following year. That's true of the dependent care too. If and when baby starts going to daycare.
I worked with we used to do like it was December 31st, and it's like we have all this money in our FSA that we haven't spent. My wife ran out, and knowing that we get allergy problems and colds, like tried to buy a bunch of decongestants and whatever.
Oh no!
And it got like flagged, like they're trying to build a meth lab.
She's going from Walgreens to Walgreens buying all the Sudafed. Oh my God, that's funny. She was Breaking Bad. Who did that?
like do that for a car. You know, and I didn't even know that you could use it on OTC, over the counter medications, because even when I would go get like aspirin, like, if I picked up my prescriptions at the pharmacy, I could use it, but not.
Yeah, as of 2020, they're back in.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Biden.
Like anything that goes wrong with the world.
I know.
My car won't start. Thanks, Bob. I am super like.
But you're in open enrollment. I do love it. I'm sorry, I kept shutting you off.
And then I could hear my receipt, and I never got one. But
take a picture of those receipts too, because remember, like my dentist uses that paper that disappears. You know, like that thin paper. If it gets hot, it disappears. So take pictures. If you're going to use the reimbursement strategy on the HSA, take pictures and load them into your Google file so that you don't lose those receipts. Yes, that's right, on the iPhones.
I use that tool, free scanning. Oh, okay, I don't know. But even a lot of your HSA apps, you could get an app too, and it'll kind of do the same thing.
That, and also, like if you've been using the same provider, so again, the same dentist, I can call the front desk and they'll send me a super bill. And the same thing with my therapist, I can get a super bill from her and all of the different people so that I can put them in my Google file for get money back later.
Yeah. I never thought about waiting. I always like, if I could use the debit.
Oh, I know, because right now I need the money. I got little kids. But if I was living in a world before kids, I was saving it up to reimburse myself. And then reimburse yourself. Look at Julia's face. I know, it's so fun. I know, but these are all the ways that we get one over on the system. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. That's only the F. Remember, F is for F. For how much you can claim total? No, not right now. Under current tax law, there is no expiration date. But I will say that, I mean, even working with people in their late 60s that have already retired, the biggest health savings accounts I've seen are like 50 or 60,000, but they haven't been around a super long time. So it's not like this is going to be the thing that makes you millions, but it is super, super convenient to have. Yeah, it's pretty low. Yeah, but it's still tax-free, so, you know, love that. Yeah. So that's it about corporate benefits. You're welcome, guys. I I truly do love the corporate benefits because it is the combination of like strategy and planning and jigsaw puzzles and also like socialism. And so I like that for all of us. I've been doing more and more research on what are the different groups that people can get into, and the alumni ones are huge. Oh, I forgot about credit unions. No. The ones that RBFCU keeps sending me are like $100,000 life insurance that they want me to pay like $10,000 a year for. So, no.